You buy a cute little alphabet book for a baby so that you can start exposing them to these letters very quickly so that they can begin to recognize those letters. And it's during the most impressionable time of their life when their cognitive development is growing at a rapid pace. When I was younger, I went to the local library and checked out a bunch of books, and an alphabet book was one of those. And so when I got home with it, and flipping through the pages, and then I arrived to the letter N, and I did not recognize the word. So I asked my father if he could tell me what that word was. And he took the book away from me, went and walked off, and didn't have a conversation with me about it or anything like that. I did like a little Google search to see if other books like this existed. And from there, this exhibition was born. A lot of the images I found on eBay, Etsy, either they found them in grandparents' attic or an estate sale, or library was having a book sale. Various places that a lot of people were getting these materials from and then placing them online. A lot of the more offensive, derogatory books and the more antique are several thousands of dollars in price. And the most expensive book that I found so far is actually the one that is called A Coon Alphabet. It was illustrated by E.W. Kimball, who also illustrated Huckleberry Finn, Uncle Tom's Cabin. I wanted to imagine what that would be like in a classroom setting if it was actually something that was taught as part of a curriculum in a school setting. So you have Mrs. Fisher's language arts class, and she's doing vocabulary. The word of the day is pickaninny. On the teacher's desk, you'll see her grade book. And in her grade book are different racial slurs for the days of the week throughout the month of October. And these are the different lessons that the children are going to be learning. I know that this is not something that would happen in the real world, but it was in something that was as innocent as a child's book. If it's outlandish in a classroom, then it's outlandish in a book. It should have never been there. Growing up in North County and Castle Point specifically, in the 80s and 90s was kind of wild because you're in the middle of this economic boom. Middle-class Black families are thriving. And it was a point where white flight had happened. But before white flight happened, especially in the early 80s when I was born, racism was still very much a real thing in these integrated neighborhoods. And a neighbor of ours took a cross, tethered it to the fence, and they set it on fire in the middle of the night. And my first experience with racism was that, and it's something that was so ingrained in my mind. So for the video, photographing all of this material was extremely exhausting, emotionally exhausting. And so I really had a moment of catharticism with burning those books. And it was very much the emotional release I needed to break up the heaviness of this show.